Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's latest Game Day style. It's Game Day, fellas. Remember my old high school defensive backs coach? Every time we had a game, it was game day, and he would say, "It's game day, fellas," and it is game day, ladies and gentlemen. For the Cleveland Browns, I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where you get caught up on some of the latest news and information involving the best team in the NFL. That is the Cleveland Browns. Let's start by thanking everyone who has liked our previous episodes, who has subscribed to the channel, who has scanned the QR code to become a member of the Browns' latest dog pound. And to all of you who have gotten your comments into the viewer comment section to make your voices heard. Let's go. It is game day, folks. And if you're looking for one of the biggest keys to today's game, all Joe Flacco has to do is look over his shoulder. We'll also go over some of the things you should be watching for as this game unfolds. Give you our bold predictions for game one against Cincinnati. And then down in the viewer comments, when it comes to blocking in the Stefanski offense, it's not the offensive line we should be worried about. It's another position that really will feel the pressure. We'll find out what that's all about. And today, you know what, folks? We're taking it back to the old school. We're going graphicless today because it's game day. And we've got things to get to, things to talk about. And it starts with the keys to beating Cincinnati. First things first, Joe Flacco's got to be looking over his shoulder. Dawand Jones out there at left tackle. I mean, this is his job to lose, folks. And so this is something we've dreamed about for the last few years. We are tired of looking at Jed Wills out there. And when we took Dawand Jones, remember, he was a right tackle. And so he's been working over on the left side, and everybody was, boy, oh boy, if we can only make him a left tackle, if we can only make, well, we have. And so it will be his job to keep Grandpa Joe on his feet. No blindside blitzes, please, Dawand. That is going to be a huge factor in this game. How Dawand Jones, especially if it's Hendrickson lining up, I'm figuring they're going to move Hendrickson around. But if Hendrickson's over there, Dawand's got to keep him off of Grandpa Joe's back. That is a huge key to this game. Also, critical, the offensive line. Massive key to this game. Can they get the running game going? Can that wide zone open the holes that Jerome Ford and Dylan Sansom need to get upfield? And it's not even about hitting home runs with the running game. It's about positive yards, picking up first downs, converting third downs, and more importantly, keeping the clock running. I go back to it one more time. Remember the preseason game with Dylan Gabriel, that first drive of the game, that was textbook Stefanski. Nice balance, run and pass, short passes, those high percentage passes, and they ate up over half of the first quarter and got 7 points. That is ideal for what the Browns are trying to do, especially if we get the ball first. Like, you got to get a lead and then let that defense take over from there. But it all starts with that offensive line up front. And remember, this Bengals defense, not that good. So we should be able to have some success against them up front. Now, on the other side of the ball, the defensive line. I've been singing the praises of this defensive line since what? March? I don't know. I can't even remember. But it's the way it has all come together with Myles Garrett, Isaiah McGuire, Mason Graham, Alex Wright, Malik Collins, all these guys up front, and the depth that we have. And what the kind of push we should be able to get and the blitzes we should be able to throw at them, because their offensive line, they're going to have to double somebody on every single play. So getting up the field and allowing our corners to play one-on-one. And remember, there's something that came up during the week. Coach Jim Schwartz said, he said, Burrow will throw to anybody if he's got a one-on-one. Burrow, if he looks out and he says, oh, you got a one-on-one? I've never even thrown you a pass, but I'm going to throw you a pass now. Burrow is not afraid to throw it. So I think the Browns will man up. You got Newsome and Ward. I think they will man up on occasion and test Burrow, but it's because of their defensive line. That they expect the defensive line to get home on almost every play. And whether or not they get to Burrow and sack him, just get him off the pedestal. Make him move his feet, get him rocking, and get him moving, and get him on the run. And so that is going to be key. So DeJuan Jones protecting Flacco's blind side, the offensive line and the running game, and then the defensive line wreaking havoc all day long. We need to do that. Now, what to watch for? So look, we just mentioned it. Look for the blow. Watch for the zone blocking. Remember, you're going to stretch it out to a side, and then the running back, it's going to look like he wants to go that way, but the hole is going to be backside. So watch for Ford using that zone blocking scheme and busting some big ones, hopefully. Also, watch how Ford's being used. I'm very curious. I've been saying for years they are using him incorrectly. I think this is our chance. You get him out in space like that, and you get him on the edges. Like I have always said, and I'm not saying he's Christian McCaffrey, but I'm like, I think the Browns need to use him like San Francisco uses McCaffrey. Throw him the ball and get him in the slot, hit him with a quick and a quick hitch or something, and or a screen, and then let him get upfield. I mean, we've seen it from time to time, and and it works. But this year in the preseason, I thought that we finally started leaning in. So I'm going to be watching for that, watching for how they use Ford today, and watch for those high efficiency passes. It's all part of the Stefanski offense, the run after the catch, right? You know, whether it's Judy or Bond, could be Tillman. But watch for that. Let's see how different how different that looks compared to what we had to watch, the mess with the whole Watson offense and Dorsey and all that nonsense the last few years. It's going to look a lot different. And then what they'll do is they'll use all of that to set up the play action. And so I don't think they'll play action a lot, but watch for it. There will be times when they'll play action and Flacco will go over the top. And I got a feeling it's going to be Isaiah Bond and his 4.3 speed that he'll be looking for. And then also on the defensive side, watch how Myles Garrett will move around. I mean, Schwartz likes to move him around. You got to keep their offensive line guessing. But the beauty of it is if you put Myles on one side, you got Wright or McGuire on the other side. Now, the big difference, too, now is Mason Graham in the middle. So they're going to have to double somebody somewhere. And so Myles Garrett will be moving all over the place, and they won't know what to do. This is the other thing I'm watching for today, folks. I want to see turnovers. Remember, Denzel Ward talked about it months ago. He says, we got to turn these pass breakups into interceptions, turn into PBUs into INTs. And so I want to see that today. And then speaking of Ward, it's going to be fun to watch him and Jamar Chase go at it all day. Ward has had the better of him for most of his career, and let's hope that continues today. So where does that leave us? Bold predictions. All right. I think Jerome Ford's going to have a good day. I'm not going to say, he's not going to do anything like 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. It'd be awesome if he did, but I could see him getting to 100 yards and scoring a touchdown. I just think that they're going to grind and grind and grind, especially if they get a lead. Watch for it. I think Judy and the tight ends, meaning Njoku and Fannin, I think they'll show up big. I mean, they are going to be a huge part of this offense, those three, especially the tight ends. And I think let's get right to it because, like we told you yesterday, the Bengals versus tight ends are terrible. They are terrible. All last year, and for DFS, I would play whoever the Bengals were playing. I would play that tight end, and it worked out for me pretty much all the time. They're terrible against tight ends, so I fully expect both Fannin and Njoku to have really good games today, along with Judy. The Browns defense, both predict they're going to get at least 3 sacks, at least, and I think Myles Garrett's going to get 2 of them. I think they're not going to be able to know what to do. They're not going to know how to handle Myles Garrett, especially now with that push that we have in the middle. They're going to be lost. This is a completely revamped defensive line for the Browns, and the Bengals are going to be the first ones to get a heavy dose of it and a big taste of it. And I think Denzel Ward's going to get one today. I think he'll get a pick. So either him or Newsome. I'll throw either him or Newsome. One of them's getting a pick today because, again, Goes back to the defensive line. And so there are your bold predictions. Now, what's always bold are the viewer comments, but these are game day viewer comments, which are completely next level. Our first ever game day viewer comments. And we'll start with Moth 450, who says, eyes on the Browns, let's go. I agree. A lot of eyes on the Browns today to see. Can they start the turnaround? And of course, with Flacco too, 40 years old man Joe out there, wacko for Flacco. Like, how is he going to? I mean, he look so good in this offense in 2023 for 5 games, but now he's had time. He's had months to prepare, not just days to prepare like the last time. Months to prepare and work in the system and work with the team and get comfortable with the guys. They talked about it on Friday. How it's just having that extra time and Flacco being that calming presence. I just think that, that's what everybody's really going to be watching. Everybody's going to see if Flacco's going to crash and burn, and I don't think he will. Graham's 7914. This is a good point. He says, watch the blocking by the wide receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs when the pocket is shifting for sweeps and RPOs, the run pass options. If the wide receivers and tight ends can't or won't block, that's fatal to the Stefanski offense. Just saying. And Graham, 7914, you're right. And that reminds me, remember the fumble? I mean, it was Webster Slaughter who missed the block, and that's what caused the fumble. It had nothing to do with him. It wasn't a linebacker, it was he missed the block on the corner, and Castile came in and knocked the ball out. Everybody's got a block. It's going to take a team effort, a monument every week, and I agree with that. And so I'm just so curious to watch this offense now with Watson out of the way. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so refreshing to actually see a real NFL offense and not watch somebody drop back 55 times a game and not know how to read a defense and run around and get sacked and just a complete disaster. It's over. Those days are over because Watson will never play for us again. Ever, ever, ever. Tiki on pause. Now it's in capital letters, so you know they mean business. Says, Fannin could be used all the ways. A tight end, halfback, fullback, slot, even outside. Use him every way possible. Create matchup nightmares for everyone. And that, I think, is the plan. Tiki, I really think that, look, we mentioned before, Bowling Green used him. And, I don't think people realize that. They're like, oh, he's a tight end for Bowling Green. He was more than a tight end at Bowling Green, and he's going to be more than a tight end for the Cleveland Browns. They will have him doing a little bit of everything. They'll probably have him running jet sweeps even because Bowling Green did. Why not? And so, I think he is such a unique facet to this offense, something we have never seen before coming out of the Cleveland Browns. And then we'll end it today with Jacob Hinkle, 8581. He says, I'm in all the way on 2025. Let's go, Jacob. I am too. I'm telling you, folks, I think this team is going to surprise a lot of people. Nobody's given us a chance, and that's when we're at our best. And this is a great game to start with. The Bengals and their defense, not the greatest in the world. It's just going to be fun to see. We'll see what the rookies do. Let's see what everybody does. And then we will be back to break it all down for you after the game. All right, that's going to do it. Enjoy the game. Enjoy NFL, the rest of NFL week 1. Man, oh man, we've already had a couple of good games already, but let's go. The Brownies are here, baby. The Brownies are back on a Sunday afternoon. All right. Hey, we got to get a couple more in. We're going to hear a lot of that today. We're going to hear a lot of barking and the song. All right, go Browns! We will see you next time.